call the meeting, the budget work session to order. And tonight's agenda is the capital budget. And it begins on 12-1. Now, obviously, we've gone through most of the individual items when we reviewed the departments to which they apply. But there were, I believe, 3 items that, and I actually have them marked in my first version here. 3 items: the revaluation costs, which of course we do annually, computer replacement, and the radio for the fire inspector vehicle. So perhaps the staff can give us, if there's anything to say about those 3 items, would be helpful.
Right. So the revaluation is, the annual cost that we budget for the every 5-year revaluation, and they average around $300,000 per revaluation. So we budget $60,000 a year. Our next revaluation is for fiscal year 2028. Grand list year 26, so 2 years from now. So we're midway. Okay. The computer replacements this year, 32.4. I'm unsure off the top of my head which departments that relates to, but I think Andy may know that.
Yes, I am pulling that up, information up now. So this is part of our annual computer replacement program. Typically, IT likes to replace computers every 5 years, and then computers will be, recycled to public use for the senior center and at the library. This year, it's included the tax office, a computer in the town manager's office, human resource director's office, the entire water pollution control facility. And included in this number as well is a camera server, and this is for all town cameras that we have on town facilities. So that's a $12,000 expense within the $32,000 line item.
I will say that this cycle of doing, a department every 5 years or so is working out great, only because computers, like a lot of things technologically these days, don't last as long as they used to, number one. But at the same time, we have had, in departments, catastrophic failures on computers. And we haven't had that since this program has begun, really. And again, the computers that do leave any office go to public use, which are also theoretically an upgrade to what's there already. So it's working out great with Board of Ed IT department.
Okay, and anything on the radio for the fire inspector vehicle?
Yes, I can add a little bit more context to that request. Last year, the council funded 2 new police vehicles for the police department. One of the administrative vehicles that was decommissioned was pulled into the town fleet and is used as an additional pool car for staff, who have to do, blight inspections, zoning inspections, or other town-related responsibilities. In addition to that, the vehicle is used by the fire inspector, who supplements the fire marshal in doing inspections and businesses around the community. The vehicle is also used by the fire marshal if, for some reason that vehicle, his vehicle, the truck, is not in service for maintenance or whatever reason, and he still needs a vehicle to respond to fires and fire calls. So the reason for this request for a radio is so that the fire inspector, while using it, can have access during either emergencies when responding to an inspection or any type of routine communication, or when the fire marshal is in the vehicle and needs to use it when his vehicle is out of commission. Okay, so that's the nature of the request.
Okay, thank you very much. So also I would ask if there's, first of all, anything else that the staff would like to add on any of the items or on capital in general, please, feel free.
I think there's I think we each year do our best to try and the internal process is we ask the departments to rank order to help us in terms of the, we're oversubscribed and trying to get, as much help and assistance to each department as we can. And recognizing, like the one you just took, portable radio from 7,000 up to 150,000 for a second payment of a 6-wheel truck. So we're trying to triage and trying to put that together, and I think we do the best we can to try and do as much as we can where it's needed. So that's what's in front of you. We don't, things move around, and as the chief said, he had an idea for weapons and ammunition and so forth, but things happen within that process that he says, now I've got a security system that needs upgrade right away. So we do some swapping around and so forth. So I think it's a very collaborative effort within departments, and we like to probe and get as much information from those department heads as to the timing of the need, and that's where we try to get to the need, what they need and what they have to have, and then we go from there. So I think it's a good process. It works. It has been working.
And I think we're trying to get rid of out of CIP the more annual maintenance or ongoing type of things as we've moved out over the last few years, but into the operating budget. So we're really trying to get capital to be capital-related, multi-year type of items. It's just hard because of a lot of these things have lived here forever, and to put it in the operating budget and increase that is difficult to get by sometimes to comprehend and all that. So, but we're really trying to make this really a true capital and collaborative effort. And again, as Tom Andrews said, you can see the requests from the departments, and that's not anything that's nearly in front of you now. So a lot of requests, a lot of wishes and needs, but reality is kind of what you have in front of you.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the other night about the MS4 annual compliance going.
Yeah, and that one, that one probably really should be in the operating budget. I kind of agree with that, and it's the town-wide, so we could put it in tech services, I believe. Yeah. But again, that would show an egregious increase from year to year in one line item.
Right.
But you're really talking about what, 20? I think that's 25 grand.
25, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that really is an ongoing. It's not going to go away.
Right. Right.
Okay, from town council members, any comments or questions?
I would just like to add one last
Sure.
thing. So what we're looking at is the Town Capital Reserve Fund. Tomorrow, the Board of Education will be joining to discuss their budget proposal. They also have a series of capital requests that is on the agenda for tonight, but probably not something we'll get into without Board of Ed staff here.
Good.
But just as a point, there are additional items included within the town's capital improvement plan that fall under the Board of Education.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask, I think we had some informally, a couple of us discussion that we probably would not be addressing the board capital items tonight, and we would wait till we have the superintendent and other staff with us tomorrow night. And that's on page 12-4.
So their number is not on page 12-1. So we're looking at 957
That is the subtotal for town
for
government.
town side.
And then the subtotal for Board of Education
Is
is
388.
388.
Okay.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Is everybody, in agreement? We have consensus that we'll address that tomorrow night?
Yeah.
The Board of Ed capital items, okay. Okay, and remember, last night we also did reviewed capital for the water pollution control facility, so there's, more than one area in the budget book for capital. Okay, the pages 12, version 2, 12-2 and 12-3. If staff could go over those, that would be very helpful.
Sure. These, these pages relate to the capital for both the town and the Board of Ed. Pages 12-2 and 12-3, version 2, are just the revenue and expenditure sides for the town CIP. So if you look at page 12-3, you'll see the 957.6. That is the gross expenditure, the CIP request from page 12-1 that we just finished off. Okay. And the revenue side, to offset that, how do we pay for that? So in our budget for Department 840 that has all the transfers out, there's 2 lines in there, one for CIP for town, one for CIP for Board of Ed. We're requesting, when you get to that next week, 840 to be the town funding $750,000 on the total of the 2 CIP expenditure budgets. So you see 750 sitting there, which is less than the gross expenditures of 957.6. So we have to make up for it. As we do every year, we do come to you at some point during the year, which will be very shortly, within the month of April, probably April, I'll come to you and say we need an additional appropriation for capital. That was approved in the budget process. That number, in this case, shows as 207.6, assuming passing at the 957.6 level for the town. And then on page 12-5, you'll see $388,400. That is the gross request of revenue and expenditures for Board of Ed CIP. So the total appropriation from fund balance would be upwards of $595,000, lower than in previous years, because we're trying to get the general fund allocation up a little bit higher. Remember, a couple of years ago, we were at $7,500 and spending $1.5 million. So we're trying to get, funding versus use of fund balance to offset the expenditures. But again, that allocation, that appropriation is based on what you decide to fund in Department 840 when we get to that next week.
Anything else on that? I know often in the past, we haven't necessarily voted on capital the night we review it. I don't know what the pleasure of the council is this year, if there's any recommendations on the part of staff.
Yeah, I think this is probably one you want to hold, given the absence of 2 members, and that you probably just want to also hear the capital, explanation from Board of Education tomorrow night, and then maybe roll this into Tuesdays and wrap it up on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, and these numbers, the general fund allocation and/or the appropriation from fund balance to offset the expenditures would be part of 840, which you're not taking up till next week anyway. So you decide to change the expenditures and capital,
Yeah.
it'll change those numbers too, so we can do it all in one time.
And I've looked back, and it's the way we generally have done it.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't usually
Yes.
vote on the first night we review it. So that's okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Anything further that we should do on capital for tonight? No, I don't think so. Okay.
No.
Okay. Let's see.
Rosemary runs a efficient meeting.
So let's see. We need to move to go into executive session or not, because this is a work session.
Right. We're
Right.
just going to have, I think you're going to have to adjourn, and then we can't start before 7. That's a posted time.
That's right, because it's a posted.
So you need a motion to adjourn?
So we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
This is one meeting or 2 separate?
So we're adjourned
Easy
for the
night.
work session.